All right, so today I'm going to show you how to make a political cartoon. A political cartoon is a real easy way to show what you've learned about a particular concept by putting it in a visual way. It's particularly good for the visual learners. And it's really good for anyone to sort of process the information and spit it out in a real creative way. So, as you might know, a political cartoon kind of makes fun of a situation or shows what you understand of a situation. It often exaggerates or puts a humorous slant on something. And in this example here, I have a picture of a colonist looking toward a Native American, and he is unhappy. And this is showing the Proclamation of 1763, which was a event that led to the American Revolution. Basically, what happens is King George III declares that colonists who had previously fought for this territory on the side of the British side during the French and Indian War, he proclaimed that that the colonists couldn't go west of the Appalachian Mountains. So at any rate, this made the colonists pretty unhappy. The territory that they fought for, they felt they couldn't go over into. King George explained that he thought it would prevent attacks from the Native Americans on the colonists, but still, the fact that they couldn't go over there made him pretty unhappy. This shows basically who was involved, right? We have the colonists and Native Americans. This shows what the policy was about, and it was about the fact that they couldn't cross the Appalachian Mountains. The colonists couldn't cross, and it shows how they felt about it. That the colonists were pretty enraged. All right. So today we're going to do a little political cartoon. I'm going to show you how to do one for the Fugitive Slave Law. Well, the Fugitive Slave Law, as you know from the events leading to the Civil War PowerPoint, it was part of the Compromise of 1850, and it required that both Northerners and Southerners returned any runaway slaves. Of course, this made the Southerners happy because the slaves that they felt that they needed for their plantations in Cotton King South, right, Cotton Kingdom, they called it, were returned. The Northerners, of course, were unhappy. Many Northerners were abolitionists or wanted to abolish slavery, and so they defied it, creating more of a conflict between the North and the South. So I like to lay out sort of some ideas before I start drawing. So I have on my organizer here, I put my name, Pavlovich. I put the title, which is the Fugitive Slave Law of 1850. And then I wrote some key points. Again, what you want to write is who was involved, what the policy was, and how people felt about it. So I wrote the key participants of this Fugitive Slave Law were Northern abolitionists, Southern slave owners, and then the slaves. And the policy was that they required, again, the Southern slave owners return the slaves, the Northerners and the Southerners returned slaves to his or her owner. And this law made the Northern states unhappy because they opposed slavery for the most part, and Northerners openly defied it in many cases. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to show you how to draw some real simple guys here, and I'll try to go slow so you can follow along. But I'm going to start off depicting the North and the South, so I like to draw a line. We'll draw a nice thick line here, kind of cutting off the North and the South. Again, here we go. I'll try to do everything 2 times so that you can follow along. The dividing line. We'll go ahead and write North up here and South down here. I like to write in all caps, makes it nice and easy to understand. All right, I can also draw my handy dandy compass rose, which would show me a little bit more of what I know about geography, right? So North, East, South, West. Of course, it's never eat soggy waffle, never eat soggy wheat, never eat sour waffles, whatever it is you want to do to remember it, but that helps me. And I'm going to draw, first of all, a Southerner. And as you know, the Southerners were happy that Congress passed this or Congress, or our legislative branch, our lawmaking branch, passed the Fugitive Slave Law. So we're going to draw a little guy here. He's going to be looking up. So I'd like to draw the head first. And I would draw, if I were drawing in pencil, I'd draw the complete head. But I had to kind of make a opening there so I can have his nose looking up, because he's going to be looking up. Where the nose points to sort of suggests where the eyes are going to go next, or where they're looking at. And he's going to be a happy guy. So we're going to draw a happy face on him because he got what he wanted, right? Or at least he thinks he is. All right? So there we go. The nose. Put a happy face on him, a couple of eyes, some hair. You can put any kind of hair you want. I just did it that way. Now I'm going to draw a body. Real simple. It's like a triangle. It's like a triangle. I'm going to draw an arm coming off with the hand at the back. Beep, beep, beep. Sound effects. Okay. Now again, the body, an arm. Now I'm going to draw some legs coming down like that. I'm going to draw some feet. So first I drew the legs there, and then I'm going to draw some feet coming off. Real easy, and some pants. All right. He's a happy guy. So maybe we'll make him saying something like, I always like to make a really big bubble, speech bubble. Or a good way to do it too is just to not do the bubble at all until after you've created what you're going to say. But maybe he's saying, ha! You need to return my runaway slaves. Shows I understand what it was about. Okay, as you know, they called the South Cotton King. The reason why they called it Cotton King is because the Southern economy depended on the exporting of their cotton. So we're going to draw some cotton plants here. Real simple. Draw some leaves. Right? Now, cotton has these pods that sort of open up, and there's these really sharp little things. They dry. Initially, they're green, right? But then they dry. The pods open, and the cotton sticks out, or pops out. So we're going to draw those little things. By the way, it makes it really hard to pick cotton. Really hard to pick cotton, and there's little seeds in the cotton too, which needs to be removed, which you may or may not know that Eli Whitney created the cotton gin, which made it a much easier process, which made that whole industry of producing cotton much more profitable. So draw a couple cotton plants there. Maybe we'll draw another one over here. 3 little things again. Real simple. Doesn't need to be a Picasso. And you need to remember too, your grade is never going to be issued on the fact that you can draw or not draw. It's always just going to be your effort and what you show you've learned. All right, so as many facts as you can put in there, the better. Showing you what you know. All right, so we got that Southerner. We'll come back and put some details in, but you got the idea there. Now we're going to draw the Northerner, who of course was pretty unhappy about this thing. We're going to start off with the head. And I would just draw a circle, but I want to put some ears on him. So I'm going to put some ears like this. And we're going to have him looking straight forward. So again, a circle, a couple of ears. We'll put some hair on him too. Again, you could put whatever hair you want. I'm just making him spiky. And a nose. I'm going to draw his eyes, and I'm gonna have him kind of looking up like, oh brother. And he's unhappy, right? Because Congress, or our lawmaking branch, made this law that made him unhappy. Because most Northerners, again, didn't agree with slavery. Why? Because they were industrial in the North. They didn't depend on slaves like the Southerners did for picking cotton. All right, I'm going to draw some arms. I just drew the body. Draw some arms, same way. We're going to draw some hands coming off too, like he's got his hands on his hips. All right. All right, now we'll draw the legs. That's 3 lines coming down. 3 lines coming down here. And there we go. There we go. They got our southerner. Excuse me, northerner. He's a northerner. And he'll have him do a little thought bubble. He's not saying anything back, but he's thinking it. And he's saying maybe something like, that's what you think. Because he knows he's probably not going to do that. And in the North, we got to show what we know about the North a little bit here. So we're going to draw a little smokestack kind of thing. And we'll draw a building next to it because it was the industrial North, right? And they mostly had a lot of textile manufacturers. Now, textiles are fabrics. So they had a lot of fabrics that they were producing. Of course, the South was exporting their cotton to the North, and the North was taking the cotton and producing textiles or fabric. And so we're going to have the smokestack kind of encompassing the North here. And many of the textile manufacturers were on rivers with these paddle wheels that would actually move the paddles so that the spinning jennies or the textile weavers would start moving via the power of the river. So we're going to draw a little river there. Shows me that I know that the North is industrial and the South is agricultural. So I would just put a few little things here. I like to draw some little details that make it kind of interesting. I'll put some soles on his shoes. I like line shading. So line shadings are just creating little lines that show the add interest. I put a little shirt on him. I could put I guess one thing that I could do is maybe put a pitchfork. It's the iconic I'm a farmer. On his other hand, maybe he's got a pitchfork. Right? Or maybe you could do a little thing coming out of his mouth too, like a grain. Okay, and this guy will give him some shading too, maybe a shirt, some shoes, a little more interest on it. All right, that's basically it. This is a political cartoon. It shows who was involved, the North and the South. Shows that the South was unhappy about the fugitive slave law. The Southerners saying, you need to return my slaves, sort of making fun of him. He's saying, no, that's what you think. because they're going to defy it. Kind of shows that principle. I've shown that the south was agricultural, and I've shown that the north was industrial, and I've drawn a little compass rose showing the north and south. So I hope you had fun, and as I want to remind you that don't be afraid to draw. Don't be afraid to draw what it is you think looks right. I want to encourage you to draw in pencil and erase whatever you want to erase, and show the concepts. How you draw or how well you draw is not that important. The reality is, if you're processing the information in a visual way, you're going to learn it better, and that's our goal. So have a good day, and thanks for watching.